Here is your complete emotional YouTube story in part 1 only, around 1,000 words, written in a cinematic daytime setting with unique characters. The boss asked the single dad to pretend to be her boyfriend, then said, "We only need one room." The call came just after sunrise, while Rowan Hale was helping his 8-year-old daughter pack her school bag in their small apartment. The morning light poured through the kitchen window, warming the old wooden table where unpaid bills sat beside a half-finished cup of coffee. Rowan had spent the last 4 years raising his daughter alone after losing his wife to illness. Every day was a careful balance between work, parenting, and simply surviving. He never expected that one phone call from his boss would change everything. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected love, please like this video, comment below, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise for more emotional stories that touch the heart. Rowan worked as an assistant manager at a small architectural company owned by the successful but distant executive, Celeste Whitmore. She was respected by everyone in the office because of her intelligence and determination, but few people truly knew her. She arrived early, left late, and rarely spoke about her personal life. To Rowan, she seemed like someone carrying a heavy burden behind expensive clothes and confident smiles. That morning, Celeste asked him to meet her at a quiet cafe near the office. Rowan arrived wearing his usual faded blue shirt, worried that he had made a mistake at work. Instead, he found Celeste sitting alone by the window, her eyes tired despite the bright daylight outside. She explained that her family was gathering for a weekend celebration at a lakeside resort several hours away. Her relatives constantly pressured her about marriage and relationships. After years of focusing only on business, she was exhausted from the questions and criticism. She needed someone to pretend to be her boyfriend for just 2 days, and for reasons she could not fully explain, she trusted Rowan. The request shocked him. He was a single father struggling to pay rent, while she was the wealthy owner of the company. Their world seemed impossibly different. Rowan immediately thought about his daughter, Alara, and whether accepting the invitation would be wrong. But Celeste gently assured him that all expenses would be covered, and that he could return before his daughter came home from her weekend visit with her grandparents. After a long silence, Rowan agreed. The next morning was bright and clear. Sunlight reflected off the highway as they drove toward the lake. The trip felt awkward at first. Rowan spoke about his daughter, about the challenges of raising a child alone, and about the promises he had made to his late wife. Celeste listened quietly, occasionally smiling at stories about Alara's imagination and kindness. For the first time in years, Celeste admitted that success had left her lonely. Her parents had passed away, her friendships had faded, and her work had become her entire identity. She envied Rowan's relationship with his daughter, even though his life seemed difficult. When they arrived at the resort in the early afternoon, the large family gathering had already begun. Laughter filled the gardens. Children ran across the grass. The lake sparkled beneath the sun. Celeste introduced Rowan as her boyfriend, and immediately the questions and judgments stopped. Her relatives seemed relieved to see her with someone who appeared sincere and humble. Rowan did his best to play the role. He carried her bags, walked beside her during lunch, and listened politely to family conversations. Yet throughout the day, he noticed how nervous Celeste became whenever certain relatives approached. Behind her confident appearance was a woman desperately trying to satisfy everyone except herself. As evening approached, a problem arose. Due to a reservation mistake, only one room remained available. Celeste looked at the hotel clerk, then at Rowan, before quietly saying, "We only need one room." The words froze him. He respected her deeply and feared crossing any boundaries. He immediately offered to sleep in the lobby or drive home, but Celeste stopped him. She explained that she trusted him because he was the only man she had met in years who spoke more about his daughter than himself. She believed he would protect her dignity as much as his own. That night, they slept on opposite sides of the room while moonlight entered through the curtains. Neither could sleep. Instead, they talked softly for hours. Rowan shared the pain of losing his wife and the loneliness that followed. Celeste admitted that despite her wealth, she often returned to an empty house that felt colder every year. The walls she had built around herself slowly began to fall. The following day was filled with sunshine and family activities. Watching Rowan help children fly kites by the lake made Celeste realize something she had never noticed before. Success had brought her recognition, but kindness created belonging. Rowan treated every person with respect, whether they were executives, hotel workers, or children playing nearby. Before leaving the resort, Celeste's elderly aunt quietly told her that love rarely arrives in the form people expect. Sometimes it appears disguised as friendship, kindness, or simple companionship. When they returned home, life resumed its normal rhythm. Rowan returned to work and focused on his daughter. Celeste returned to meetings and business decisions. Yet both felt that something had changed. Several weeks later, Alara visited the office after school. She met Celeste for the first time and immediately handed her a small drawing. It showed 3 people standing beneath the sun beside a lake. "This is my dad," Alara said. "And this is you because Dad smiles when he talks about you." Celeste felt tears forming in her eyes. She realized that Rowan had given her something money could never buy: genuine connection. Months later, she reduced her workload, spent more time with people she cared about, and slowly became part of Rowan and Alara's life. Their relationship was built not on wealth or status but on trust, understanding, and healing. Special request: comment "Kindness creates home" if you believe that genuine hearts always find each other. As the seasons changed, Rowan learned that second chances often arrive when people least expect them. Celeste discovered that love does not need grand promises or perfect circumstances. Sometimes it begins with a simple request, a shared room, and 2 lonely people willing to trust again. And if this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Paradise. Your support helps spread stories of hope, kindness, and second chances to people who may need them most. Because sometimes the room we fear sharing becomes the place where broken hearts finally begin to heal.